This is an unscheduled live because I want to let you know what's coming this week. It'll be pre recorded, but I was having a discussion with one of my sons, and we were talking about the reality of three very real gauntlets that kids have to navigate in their life on their journey to become successful adults. And as we were chatting through this, I realized that there are a lot of you that have kids that are either in or moving through the first gauntlet. So, coming this week, it'll be recorded. So, you don't have to catch it live, but you can watch for it inside the group. Number one, if you have homeschooling friends, family that have kids that are in our house, it happened right around 12, but kids as early as 9 or 10 that need to understand what this all is, feel free to invite them to the group and copy the description below. You can share it anywhere that you want. But I want you to understand that the very first gauntlet is a very real thing. It's very, very, very real. My husband and I have been through this 5 times. The first time, it was a bloody mess. It was horrible. But it wasn't because he was horrible. It's because we were not equipped to actually help him navigate through that change with grace and dignity. And we didn't have the confidence to actually wrap the words around that would help him get through successfully. And the idea of a gauntlet, or the imagery of a gauntlet, is I want you to imagine being a knight and you are going through a training type thing. A beautiful example of it is in the movie First Knight with Sean Connery. There's this scene where there's this setup that a prospective knight needs to navigate through in order to win the prize. And this thing that they have to navigate has swinging beams and crossing swords and whirling blades and such. And it's a gauntlet that the goal is to get from one side to the other. And in the scene in the movie, you'll see that these dudes are trying to get through, and they're just getting creamed. They're getting hit by this pillar and knocked by that sword, and they're padded so that they don't die, but their dignity is big time bruised. And so as we are going through this season with our kids, we can show them an image inside that movie. You can find the clip. It's old. It's the First Night. You can find this image, this scene from the movie. But anyway, this gauntlet that they have to walk through, and you can start to wrap your language around the images and the ideas that are going to help them thrive. Because again, we didn't do it well with our first. We still didn't have it down for our second. And then by the time we got all the way through, we felt like, okay, now we kind of know how to navigate this season. It doesn't mean that it wasn't filled with drama, but we did come out the other side. And on the other side of this first gauntlet is connection and relationships and joy, and it's just peaceful. It can be peaceful. It can be rough too, depending on your kids. But I want you to know that the pain that you go through, not only picked a picture of a mom, but there are dads out there, especially, that struggle with their sons. But there's the pain that you go through as your kids navigate through that first gauntlet it's real, because you're like, where's my baby? Where's my sweet little girl? Where's my sweet little boy? And where on earth is all this emotion coming from? Because you'll feel like you popped a balloon that's filled with whipped cream and you're suddenly like stunned, like, where on earth did that come from? But the pain's not just real for you, the pain is also real for them, because they're in this season of change that their brain cannot process what's going on in a way that they can communicate to you clearly. And so they end up tripping all over themselves, sometimes physically, and they definitely are tripping all over emotions, and they're likely tripping all over and bumping into you because the emotions are flowing like Niagara Falls. So coming this week, we're going to be talking about surviving that first gauntlet, and it's really important. It's really important because this happens right smack in the middle of middle school. If you didn't think middle school was hard, this gauntlet makes it nearly impossible to get through. But this training, this video, this idea will help you not only understand it from your own perspective so that you can be grounded, so that you don't react emotionally when your child kind of hits the fan at this age, but it also will give you the words that you can be talking your kids through, so that they have stuff that they can dig their teeth into as they're talking it through with you. It's still messy, but it definitely will give you confidence. So what can you expect? At least one video this week where we'll go through the 12-year-old gauntlet. Inside Homeschooling Olympians, I will go through all three gauntlets, not just the 12-year-old gauntlet, but the I'm almost graduating from high school and I think I have this world by the tail gauntlet. And then the final big gauntlet is when your kids transition and they step into their own lives with their future spouse. And so there's three gauntlets that we're very familiar with in the Sayler household. And I can't wait to bring all three of those to you inside Homeschooling Olympians. Because at the end of the day, if you teach your kids everything they need to know, but you lose them along the way, then what does it profit, right? It profits nothing. So I hope you join me. I hope you tap on all of your friends' shoulders, especially if they're saying things like, oh, my son, my daughter, they're driving me crazy. And they're in that age group, sometime between 9, usually 12. It's the season of life that I always say my 5 sons were lucky to survive their 12th year. So I can't wait to bring this to you. It's important, and I hope you help me spread the word.